So we're back here, 2026.
Yeah.
You know, we just finished up doing Under the Mistletoe with Wildcard 2024, where you went through and made a different song for each month, along with merch. You put a lot of work in over that last year, you know, and we had a document, or we did an interview, and now we're back because you got something new. Talk to us about what you got going this year.
Yeah, so you know, just back, Warship 2025 came out January 1st, 2026, and you know, Wildcard 2024, those were monthly songs that I put out in the year of 2024, and it was compiled together to be Wildcard 2024, which was released January 1st, 2025. And so this year was taking those same themes, creating puzzle artworks that were to be part of the Wildcard exhibition, which is going to be coming out this year as well. And this was really supposed to be like more of a collaborative year for music, not trying to do something so strict as like making a monthly song. And I just felt called this year to like make a project that just uplifts and honors God.
Gotcha.
And not to run from that, and just like really embrace it, lean into it, and just push myself there. Because I think subconsciously in hindsight, like God was like pulling me here all this time. And so that's what Warship is. It's a collaborative project. So there's different artists from all across the globe. And it's just meant to talk about how worship is a warship, and how faith can be used as a weapon, because I believe we are in a spiritual warfare right now. So, you know, the project's out, and I'm really excited to be talking about it today. This year in 2026, since it is an even year, it's just staying true to the Wildcard process. I'm going back to solo songs every month. So now what is the theme for January? And it evolves from New Beginnings, which was the original theme in 2024. So the themes this year all evolved from the previous themes based on community feedback. So you see me on social media, I'm putting out polls, I'm asking questions. I'll be doing that every month, getting feedback on how people want to see the theme evolve. And also in our Discord space is also where those conversations are had as well.
Why did you choose to collaborate with a bunch of different artists, and how was that journey, and how did you recognize different people's relationship with God throughout this process?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I look at the whole Wildcard process, you know, even years, I look at it as like solo years where I'm going into the world and taking on worldly topics. And using my art to reflect that, using music to express that, reflect that. And then I want my collaborative years on the odd years, or when, you know, I'm doing the visual art piece, and then I'm doing the collaborative faith-based projects, because I think my at least my thinking behind it was, hey, if people want to collaborate with me, then we got to collaborate under God. Like it's almost a form of evangelism for me, as a way to use art as a way to honor God, but also invite people into that in hopes that they may go from that, leave from that, and say, you know what, I'm not so opposed to like making music that honors God.
Gotcha.
But it also for me is spiritually fulfilling to work with others and learn from others in this process, to then go back out into the world. And that's why also too it's called Warship as well. Like I feel like I'm getting armor to go into the world and really just be vulnerable and put myself out there.
Gotcha. Going through the songs, a lot of the songs had like drastic beat changes.
Yeah.
Did those moments of beat changes signify the moment when that worship turned into warship?
Yeah, definitely some of that thinking was between it. I was, some of it was, I think just like trying to take people on a journey through, and using the music. Like for example, with Work Through Me, I wanted people to feel, I remember showing you Work Through Me like way before, and you definitely helped a lot to put it in perspective. But like definitely taking people on I was trying to kind of put people in like a getting ready for war kind of mood.
Gotcha.
Because then it introduces the project. And so a lot of the beat switches are like, yeah, simply that, and trying to set the tone, and just, I was really thinking about the whole project as like moods. Like we had the part 1, which is like work through me, can't hold me back. And then it starts to mellow out a little bit with Pray Before I Ate.
Okay, that track is hard.
You like that one?
Yes. Pray Before I Ate that's one of the best ones on there. Sorry to cut you off.
Shout out to Eddie Clark, shout out to Jason. They did their thing on that. But yeah, like it was definitely like mellowed out, you know, and that track was really thinking about, I was kind of like, what if like you could have a gospel version of like some Larry June?
Or,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I can see that for sure.
I was thinking about like how we pray before we eat, but also thinking about like being thankful for like being blessed. Like that's why I'm like talking about eating lobster and steak. Like you know, like you're eating this fancy meal. Like don't forget where it came from. Like you be thankful.
Gotcha.
So that was kind of the premise of the song. And then Jason, I just knew he was gonna be perfect on it. I just heard him on it because he's got. Jason, in one take, he did that. Like he is the one artist, I've never seen anyone work as fast and efficient as him. And he didn't even, he just keeps verses in his phone.
Is that the one, is that the guy?
That's the first verse. I think you met Jason.
He was at the house with the other guy. Gotcha, okay. Yeah, that was, okay.
So, and Eddie, actually crazy enough, I know Eddie, we grew up together. Like before I even lived, like childhood friends. His mom and my mom were actually like really close, and him and his younger brother and me and my younger brother, we were all like best friends growing up. But then I moved to Virginia, me and my family moved to Virginia, and they were in Georgia.
Okay.
Eddie turned out to be he's like a big like Christian rapper.
Okay.
You know, and I've like kind of seen him over the years, like, oh damn, Eddie rap, you know? And you know, like seeing his successes and stuff. So I just reached out to him. I was like, hey, I sent him a bunch of different beats and he liked that one the most.
Gotcha.
Lobster with the steak. God be the only thing I chase. And I never hit these praise. I said, pray before I eat. Teach me how to be. Guard your energy. Dodge the enemy.
Squeezing on me, extraction. The devil be sending distraction. The devil be sending distraction. The devil be. You know the time you wanna wake up and you wanna go back to your old habits. All up had to be hard to just focus on ghosts when you stuck on the low and you hold traffic up. Energy, vampire, soul, Dracula. Remember I was in that old.
You know, I feel like relationship with God is peaks and valleys. You know, there are moments when we're at the top and we feel like we're walking hand in hand with Him, and then there's other times we feel like we're screaming out into a void and nobody's responding. You know, so to someone that's at that spot where they're screaming out into the void and nobody's responding, how does this project bridge that gap or reach out and grab them?
Well, this project, like the intent behind it was to show that relationship with God is not perfect. Everyone involved with the project has their own relationship of God or perspective on God.
For sure, especially Jesus is my homeboy.
Especially, you know, like everybody, and that was part of, I think, the beauty of it was like inviting people in. Some people like who may have different faith beliefs, but this is about uplifting God, honoring God in that kind of way. And I think like at the end of the day, nobody is perfect. Like you said, it's peaks and it's downhill points in a relationship with God and just staying connected. So part of what also gives me relief and feel liberated in doing a project like this and fighting through just, ideas of what are people gonna think? Well, what about this? What about that? Is because now putting myself out there, I feel like when I get to my low points, I'll have more people to hold me accountable and be like, hey, like, you know, remember what you said in the song. Like, don't feel too down here. And hopefully it can also inspire people to understand that I don't have to be perfect. And there's a spiritual warfare outside. There's a war going on for our spirit, and thinking about the spirit and thinking about the soul, and like, where is your soul going to be? Where is your spirit going to be? Because, and I think there's a war between logic and miracles. And I think we like are quick to just do what's logical and quick to like think things like, okay, 1 + 1 got to equal 2. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, yes, you can't be an idiot and like just do something that's not, if you jump off a building, you're going to fall, right? But at the end of the day, a miracle, like your calling, your dreams, your purpose, everything starts in the mind and it's a part of your spirit, and then you go and make it real. You take that leap of faith to do something about it. Gotcha. AK, like this project, being in the mind first, then there's the work to get it done, the execution. Now it's out and we're having a conversation about it. Right. And then it becomes logical to, okay, well that makes sense that, you know, we shoot a video for that song because it exists, and then that becomes logical. Gotcha. But if we just waited too much time thinking about the logic behind stuff, which I think we do in society because that's what society praises, then what does that do for showing that you're infinite, showing that, you know, you can live in abundance, and you know, because that's what God wants you to have. Gotcha.
So what were some of your favorite songs from this project? I know that's kind of hard to ask, but
it's tough. I really like the way I like the whole project. Like when I listen to it, I'll just go through start to the end. That's tough. I mean, I like different ones for different reasons. Duez Fez Izo is cool. I like that one a lot. I don't know if I'm saying it right, because of just the international aspect of it, and working with K Trim.
Who's from?
From Brazil.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. You got your Spanish going on during that. I was picking up a couple words, but not too many. How did that come about? How did that work out? So
I met him years ago, just through the internet.
And what's his name?
K Trim.
K Trim.
Yeah. We I don't even remember exactly how we met. I think there was a song I had put out. Me and Kudos, once again, me and him been longtime friends. We made tons of music together, and I think it might have been our song Cap Rap that we put out. This may have been 2018, 2019, something like that. And that song got like 70,000 plays or something like that. You know, so he had heard the song, and I think he had reached out on social media, and we just kind of stayed in touch through the years. Gotcha. And it's crazy because he speaks no English, really? And I don't speak Portuguese. So like we just use Google Translate. Like we FaceTimed and stuff before, and it's just like, I'm like, hold on, say it again. And then like recording it and putting it in Translate, and he's doing the same thing. Wow. But like his music and what he's talking about, there's, you know, him being black, there's a lot of discrimination and racism in Brazil. For sure. And he talks a lot about that in his music. Gotcha. And, you know, that has always been interesting to me. When I first met him, I remember he was like, he's from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I think he lives in Sao Paulo right now. And, you know, I've kind of seen his life. He has a kid. I don't know if they're married or not, but, you know, I've met his girlfriend or wife or significant other. And like I've kind of seen him grow, and just hearing firsthand like what's happening over there. Like I remember he called me one time telling me about how they had killed, like all in Rio de Janeiro, just killed a bunch of black people there, saying they were drug mules and smugglers. But apparently he was telling, there was like massive protests, and this is like 200 something people they killed. Wow. And he was saying it was because of it wasn't true at all, and there was a lot of protests, but it's just racism. Like you see the police it's the same kind of stuff that, you know, was going on here, but there, sometimes even worse in some kind of way.
For sure.
So I've always kind of, you know, just felt connected with him, and we've been talking about working together, doing something for over all these years, and this song, I told him about the project, what I was trying to do, and you know, he went, once he understood the assignment, he just went for it.
Yeah.
I think it was out of, you know, he just kind of went for it, man. He's just, you know, when you have that soul connection, it don't matter about language.
Nah,
you know,
it connects.
Yeah.
So what's the name of the song that you did with K-Trim?
So the song is Deus fez isso, means God did it in Portuguese.
Gotcha.
Portuguese is a tough language. That's what I learned in this experience, because I know a little bit of Spanish, but like it's just a whole different pronunciation.
Gotcha.
So you know, he's 100% Portuguese. He's speaking Portuguese, and then I thought, like in my verse, I had a few lines. I was like, man, it'd be so cool if I like went from English to Portuguese to English. And just those 2 lines, man, that was very hard.
Oh man, well, it sounded pretty good, you know, to my untrained ear. It sounded like you were fluent. I was like, I did not know Carey could speak Portuguese. So I need to step up my Duolingo game, man.
It wasn't perfect, man. They told me it was either like, you know, it's all right. We know what you were trying to say. We got what you were trying to say. Got you. Perfect.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed that song. That's one of my. That's up there on the top of one of my favorite songs. Even though I don't know what he's saying, it sounds really, really good.
Yeah, God did it. 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 K-Trim. Yeah, God did it. God did it. God did it. Sou tipo fogo dos racistas, sou tipo ódio da polícia, sou tipo preto na política, uma revolta coletiva da sua carreira, mano, em vista, não espere nada dessa vida, porque do céu só cai chuva e pouco de neblina, provei do ótimo e o bom não serve, prefiro a Adidas.
Like you had a lot of different artists collaborating on this project. How was it being able to like witness other people's relationship with God? Through, especially like with a song like Jesus Is My Homeboy.
Yeah, no, it was really dope, man. West Cam is he is a very spiritual artist and human being, and I think he's always had Christ centered in his music.
Okay.
So, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that until working with him. I just always respected and appreciated his energy, his music, his talent, and I wanted him. He had come over, I think the day you were over in the studio.
The light skinned guy.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
And
oh, that's him on Jesus, my boy.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. He doesn't even sing. He typically just like raps, and we like. I think we were working on another song, but then it turned into this song, because I had this beat started and we heard something, didn't quite know how to approach it, and I just let him just go crazy with it, and really just pushed him to get out his comfort zone, and that's when the singing came up.
Okay.
When he started to sing, and that's my favorite thing production-wise, is like getting people like out their comfort zone, because a lot of times what I know, especially with music, people feel self-conscious and they're like, oh well, you know, maybe they could really sing good in the shower, but to get them to do it on a microphone is not about them being able to do it. It's about you being in the room.
Oh no, man, because you tried to get me in a booth, and I know I ain't a musician. I know that for sure.
Man, hey, look, we give it a few more times. We're gonna get you. Look, the next project, you're gonna be on the project.
Listen, I do spoken word. I'm good at that. You know, I go in there. You know.
Hey, that's a start. That's a start.
God got me on the case. My spirit left his grace. Self-doubt had me in chains. Cause Jesus is my homeboy. Almost called it quits. I didn't change within. And now I'm born again. Cause Jesus is my homeboy.
Jesus is my partner now. He done seen so many of my faces like I'm proud of men. Many different characters, been 10. I got a lot of them. Peace on my feet, stay rocking them. Blessings, rain, no stopping them. Cause I always acknowledge him now. It ain't about the race, I'm ready. Tell Satan, stay up in my face, I'm ready to stomp out any of his plans. Cause my man is waiting on the tag. So off the road, we can jump in. And I'm all in, put the chips down. Took a ride with the spirit cause he been down. Now the devil trying to whisper in my ear with that old noise, but I can't hear him cause I'm talking to my home.
I just kind of I went with who resonated with the idea and wanted to be a part. I wasn't trying to beg no one to be a part of it, and it was just really organic. I just reached out to artists I know and told them what I was doing. It kind of went through phases. Like at one point, I had started like a big Instagram group with a bunch of different artists, and I put posts on Facebook when I first knew I wanted to do this project. And there was a lot of artists in that group, and there was a few who were just more responsive than others. And really it just became like close friends and people I know or have built relationships with over the years that ended up staying a part of it. And in the end, I loved it more that way because I think we could just all be more honest and more just, everything was just organic. Because everybody in the project, I genuinely, like, they're genuine friends. Like it's not even just music. Like they're real friends or people I know and trust and talk to. Shout out to 3130. You know, Jude, one of my best friends. He was the best man in my wedding. One of my best men in my wedding. And it's crazy because me and him go back to, he was the star battle rapper of like our high school. It was crazy too because he was the principal's son, so that was like people's ammo, but he would flip it. And you know, now he's a family man, so he hasn't really been into. He's been getting more into creating his music, like recently, because like people like me and Adopted Enemy, we've been like, he's been seeing us produce, and we've been like, and trying to push him, like, man, like, come on. And his music is definitely taken like a stylistically, it's like the way he sounds on that song is not how he sounds at all in real life. Like his, you know, he's really like stylistically experimenting with different sounds and elements. And that purpose of that song was to have something in the mix that sounded like really like raw, almost like like just raw, gritty, like mosh pit, almost kind of like music.
For sure.
And you know, he sent me this. He talking about the Bible being so thick, and you know, it's part of it was like kind of funny. Some parts, some of the lines he's saying in the songs where he's talking about like, you know, different ways her read the Bible, but again, that was his relationship and his journey.
For sure.
You know, and we talked a lot about that in consideration for it, because I told him, I was like, man, I don't know if I can have is it wrong to have a song where you're talking about reading the Bible on your knees, no Diddy though? And like, does that fit with like the project? And we had conversations about that, because I was like, man, he's like, look, I understand if it doesn't fit and all that, but I told him, I was like, man, no, this is what this project is about ultimately.
Right.
So, you know, I just appreciate those guys for like really trusting the process and being a part of the journey. And check them out. Definitely check them out, because they are, again, like really just trying to do something really unique with their music.
For sure. Did you have any inspiration when you were creating these songs? Any musical inspirations or any art?
I mean, like I would say, like the main inspiration was, just honoring God, like singing from a mountaintop. Like, hey, I want to use my music to uplift God, and like really thinking about. I went into this project thinking about music is spells. Thinking about, you go to church, there's always music. If you go to a seance, there's music. If you go to any kind of outing, usually there's music. And making people think, and also I was thinking a lot about that through the creation of this project, is how powerful music is. And like as a creator of music, I feel that, like when I'm creating music, like I don't think, and I felt like this for a long, and I think most artists will probably agree, like I go and I'll make a song, I don't even remember making the song. Like it's not coming through me, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
It feels like it's coming from something else, but like I'll get in a trance, like I'll be in the studio and I'll look up and I'm like, wow, I've been in here for like 5 hours. Like, and it feels like 30 minutes.
Right.
And then you have this song that you created. You have these vibrations that encapsulate, these sound waves that encapsulate like your essence, your energy. And what does that mean? And I think that means a lot. And I think a lot of what we're seeing in the world today is a lot of, I mean, it's a variety of things, but I think, look at the music. The music is a reflection of society. It's just all about self-gratification. It's just all about self-fulfillment. It's just about, how many women you could sleep with, how much money you can get, and how tough you are.
Right.
And I think about that, and it's just I'm just so tired of that. I'm just so sick of it. So I created this project, like instead of being sick of it and complaining about it, I want to be part of the solution.
Did you have an ultimate hope for this project?
I hope it inspired people to also see like you can have faith music. You can have music that uplifts God that can still be like
cool.
Dope.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
Like, and seeing the numbers and everything is crazy because this was a project I was just doing. It was for me to get over that, maybe fear or just discomfort of just fully leaning into embracing God and uplifting God.
Got you.
And that was, I didn't plan I didn't have to do this project or nothing. It was just really organic, and like seeing the success of it. Like, this is the most successful project I've ever put out.
Wow.
As far as like the numbers.
Wow.
Like with 50,000 in like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
A little bit more than 2 weeks. I've never done anything like that.
Wow.
So just kind of seeing it grow, to me, is just even more affirming in my faith about like trusting God. And like, I can't say enough about like faith versus logic, because logically this project didn't make any sense.
Okay.
Like, some people were looking at me crazy, like, yo, I want you can't cuss and you gotta talk about God. People were like, bruh, like, what are you doing? So that song was like 3 or 4 years ago. I had this song.
Okay.
My friend, kudos, shout out to Josh, who also in it, kind of inspired this project, because Breakthrough was the artist I was like, making Breakthrough.
Got you.
To collaborate with, and he had recorded. This was probably like 2021. We were just playing around in my house recording, and I had made this beat, and he just recorded what became Thankful. It was like a 10-minute recording. I just let him go because he was in the zone. Like, in the hindsight though, the Holy Spirit was like hitting him, because I remember us sitting there like, yo, this song is something, we got to do something with the song. It was really the beat. I wasn't crazy about the beat.
Okay.
And it was like a 10-minute recording. So that song probably came first, because it was recorded in 2021, but it was the last song to get complete.
Okay.
Because I worked with Yannick, shout out to Yannick, and because I had structured the song, I pulled out so it wasn't 10 minutes, and then I sent it to Yannick to get help mixing and mastering with it because he's way better at that than me.
Okay.
And he's a good friend I've known for many, many years. And I told Yannick as he was mixing, I was like, yo, I'm not crazy about this beat. Go crazy with it. Like, I trust you. Just, you know, I'm sure I love whatever you do. And that's that's how Thankful came about.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah,
So-
he was definitely hitting some notes on Thankful for sure.
Yeah, he had him singing like Whitney Houston on Thankful. I mean, Josh, you ain't terrible. You're not terribly off cue, but like he had him blowing on Thankful. And I saw Josh like not long. He was calling me because him and Yannick are roommates.
Okay.
And he was like, yo, man, this song, when he sends this to you, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. He's like, he got me sounding like Whitney. And sure enough, yeah, he's singing his heart out.
We're gonna have church in here, we're gonna have something there, let's have something right now. We're gonna have some church in here, we're gonna have something, yeah, we're gonna have something right now. Thankful for all those things, thankful for all those things, let's go. Thankful for all those things, thankful for all those things. We're gonna have church in here, we're gonna have something there, let's have something right now. We're gonna have some church in here, we're gonna have something, yeah, we're gonna have something right now. Thankful for all those things, thankful for all those things, let's go. Thankful for all those things, thankful for all those things. Yes, sir, I'm thankful for all those things. I'm thankful from all those things. Thankful for all those things, let's go. Thankful for all those things. I'm thankful for all those things. Thankful for all those things. I can say it now.
Kind of transitioning a little bit more personal. How did your relationship with God? How was it changed, or how did it transform throughout this process?
So definitely with just trusting God and letting God lead in my life, like radically. That's kind of where my mindset is at now. Like really just getting comfortable, wholeheartedly, just trusting God, even when it may not make sense. Like that's kind of what this project has showed me. And not making plans, but like there's a saying, we make plans and God laughs. Like that is really like been strengthened to me through this process. And yeah, I've just become like just I think closer to my faith, and like I try to make into a daily routine because I see just from the journeys I've been through in life, from just parts where I've been just completely misguided and just didn't, I was atheist at one point in time, and I just kind of went through a series of just different things and not believing there could be a God because of, how could you kill my mother? How could this happen? How could the world be like this? But then just like seeing why I went through all that, because I think it made it to where I can make a project like this, and also I feel so connected to people that might feel like that. Right. Because I know what I get it. I get it.
So how far along in the process of creating this new project did Breakthrough come? Like, was it?
It was really the first, because I didn't give myself any restrictions with this project. I just was making music, just whatever just felt good. And I made the beat for Breakthrough, and as I was doing the lyrics, I realized, because I did one verse, and the idea of Breakthrough was to collaborate with Kudos, who's on the project. I made it specifically for us to do together. And I knew he had kind of been on a gospel wave. So it was slightly gospel, but I was really thinking about him. And then like through that process, that's when I really felt, I ended up doing a second verse, and the whole song ended up just being me on the song. And it was just like God speaking through me, and then he was like, hey, why not just go all out? Why are you holding back? That's kind of what happened.
And Breakthrough has a music video to go with it, black and white. It's really great. It's beautifully shot. I do want to ask, how hard was it trying to rap and take off your jacket at the same time? How difficult was that?
So actually, that the video that came out wasn't the first take. So that was it was shot with LCY Media.
Okay.
And they do these, it's like one take videos. And they usually work with like metal bands and rock bands.
That's kind of the vibe I got from it. Okay.
And you know, shout out to LCY. So I had went there just like, I'd seen the videos online. I was like, man, you know, let me do, it just feels right to do something. And the first time I shot it, I ripped my shirt off because that's why, like in the video, you notice like my buttons are undone. We tried to make it look like my shirt was together. And that's because when I ripped it off, it just wasn't a good take. It was really hard because it's just a one take shot. If it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good.
Gotcha.
So we did the first take, and you know, Shay, my wife, was there, and you know, the LCY team was there, and they were just like, yeah, that wasn't it. Like, you can go harder than that. So of course I had already bought the shirt and everything. We had to make it work.
Gotcha. And you did have a painted message on your chest. Why did you choose to go with that scripture for that song?
Yeah, I think Romans 12:2 is when I think about breakthrough. In Romans 12:2 is, you know, do not conform to the world, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And when I think about breaking through, that's what resonates with me. That verse has always resonated a lot with me.
We had feels to always move in agreement. Remember when I fell head first on the cement? Mom died 2 days right after her treatment. Hey, I got lost in the sequence, fool, thinking of these earthly achievements, confused.
Gotcha. In the song, you spoke about losing your mom 2 days after her treatment, and also you hit your head on concrete. Is that correct lyrics?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a rough period that you're going through during, you know, making this this song Breakthrough. You're thinking about, you know, the different hardships that you face. Talk to me about that time, you know, of losing your mom and your relationship with God. How was that during that period of time?
Yeah, it made me just completely not believe in God, because so it happened. I went to when mom was battling cancer. She was battling breast cancer. So I went to, in high school, she passed away when I was 17. So in high school, I went to a Young Life camp. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It was Young Life is like a youth group kind of camp where they also talk about God and Jesus and I didn't know. I kind of went because a friend of mine, real close friend at the in high school, and we made music together, was like, he would go and he's like was hyping it up. He's like, man, you should come to this camp. I didn't know what it was. Like I just went because it seemed cool and there was gonna be a lot of girls there, and that was like the motivation. That was our motivation, really. So we go there, and before I left, my mom was, I remember talking to her, coherent, she was good. And then, you know, I get back and it was like she couldn't even talk. She was on hospice in the house, and I had given my life to Christ like in the camp.
Wow.
Went there and didn't even know that's what the camp was about, because they said it like this fun thing, but then they like, oh yeah, Jesus, you know. But I like really did it on my own conviction. I was like, you know, like I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior.
Wow.
Come back.
Wow.
And like 2 days after that, she passed away.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember just being so angered. Now, granted, I kind of knew in some way it was because she had breast cancer. She'd been battling it for years.
Okay.
And when that happened, I didn't understand how God could do that.
Gotcha.
You know,
especially since you had just
I had just given my life to Christ. I really didn't understand how God worked, period. I think, and I was 17. You know what I mean?
Still a baby.
And that definitely, that was what I put in Breakthrough, is just like, because that, I see why I went through that, because I went to college not long after that. And so I went to college like, there ain't no God. I was always like I was a pretty smart kid in high school. I had a 0.5 GPA my first semester of college. I got arrested 3 times in a month.
For real?
I was basically cut off like from my family. I was crashing out left and right, man. Like when I went to college, like I fell out with my dad, so I wasn't getting no kind of like money or help or anything. You know what I mean? So and that was what I did. I would just debate people and tell them how God ain't real. I remember I would do that. I just vividly remember different conversations I would have, but like you couldn't tell me nothing because like I've always been somewhat smart, but I was also like really arrogant and smart and just like you can't tell me nothing, and I will argue till you're blue in the face, till I'm blue in the face about my point, and people would just be like, "Man, I'm good, bro."
Yeah, just
okay, that's you. And so yeah, I put that. That was kind of the message I put in the song. But like through that, just going through different things, like I had different near-death experiences. I remember one time riding in a car, and this was just being dumb. Like I remember we had, the cops come. My friend, shout out to Kudos. I keep calling. He's in a lot of these memories.
Him here.
I know, right? And he was driving. His license was suspended. And the cops are pulling us behind us, and him and another friend of ours trying to switch seats while going about 85 miles per hour on the highway because we had stuff in the car we weren't supposed to have.
Gotcha.
So we were like, we ain't about to get pulled over. So they're trying to switch. So and the car flips, but lands back on its wheels. And this is like literally there's from here, about 100 feet ahead, is a bridge, and if the car would have flipped, we would have been dead. Like, and the cop sees the car flip and turn over, and coincidentally, right after that, I ain't gonna say coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, but just by the grace of God, but just how amazing God works. Right after that, all of our parents call us.
Wow.
I was just thinking about you. You just crossed my mind. We just almost died, and the cops come. They find the stuff in the car that we weren't supposed to have, and poor Josh, man, poor Kudos, man. He went down because he was driving. Just his license was suspended.
He had to take the route.
Yeah, he had to take the L. But just things like that, going through things like that, because that was just one example. I'm like, man, like why did that happen like that? Like why are we? That let me know there's something else at play. It's not just you or the highest form of intelligence. Like why were our lives saved?
Yeah.
I broke my back right before my son was born. So yeah, like right before my son was born, I fell off a rock and
You fell off a rock?
Fell off a rock. Yeah. I was at Moss Rock Preserve. One of my friends convinced me to go out there and rock climb with him. I was trying to keep up with him. And, I fell off a rock. I was trying to do this hard route like he did. And I got to the top. And, right when I got to the top, my whole body was shaking.
Legs locked up.
I was hanging up. He thought I was good. He told me after. He's like, man, I thought you were just playing around or something. And I just fell. And even in that situation, there was a guy who saw me struggling. He put a mat under me, and so I didn't hit my head.
Okay.
But I fell on my feet first, and I fell back, so it broke my bottom vertebrae.
Got you.
Which shattered up my spine. So there's a bunch of fragments.
Got you.
So like in my back, I have all kind of rods and metal and stuff like that.
I never knew that. Never knew that. Wow.
Yeah. I never broken anything like that, so I didn't know what it should feel like. Mm-hmm. And my adrenaline was so up, I didn't really feel the pain yet. So I'm just like, man, let's just go get some goodie powders from the gas station. I'll be all right. And then.
So could you still like walk and stuff?
Nah, I couldn't walk. They had to like help pull me out, but they had convinced me there, like, oh, you probably just bruised a bone. You'll be all right. And I was like, okay, yeah, they're probably right. And so I'm sitting in the car, and after a while, and my son's mother, I was with her at the time, and eventually my friend Ty was like, yeah, I don't know, you may want to call her and let her know. He's like, you sure you don't want to go to the hospital? And I was like, all right, this ain't getting better. You're right, I probably should. And so I called her. She was pregnant with Kason. And so, you know, as she was freaking out being pregnant, and she's like, go to the hospital. You need to go to the hospital. So I go to the hospital, and they're like, if you didn't come to the hospital, if you would have waited much longer, because the way these fragments are shifting up your spine, it would have hit through a major nerve. You was this close to going through a major nerve, and you would be paralyzed.
Oh my gosh, man, it's crazy.
And then also too, I end up with Dr. Pearson, who's one of the top neurosurgeons in the country. I have no health insurance. I worked at a restaurant at this time, so I had no health insurance, and that ends up being my doctor. Ends up being one of the top neurosurgeons in the world. He does a phenomenal job. Everything goes as planned, but while I'm healing in there, because I got all this debt because I didn't have health insurance, there was a lady who I remember, barely remember her because they had me, I was so drugged up. She comes in and says, hey, sign this. And I just signed it. And I just go make my minimum payment after like the healing and everything every month. And I go in one day and you don't have a bill.
Wow.
It's done, it's been taken care of. So, you know,
God's provision.
That was, you know, things like that. I'm like, all right, you know, why that? Why me? And then just simple stuff. Yeah, it was actually like, really, I didn't take it seriously at all during the time either, because they were like, you need to be bedridden. You don't need to be doing nothing. I was going out, like I remember I performed at like a house party in a back brace, bro.
What?
And they were like, they told me I didn't need to be working. I was working 3 jobs. And because I was about to have a baby. Thinking about things like that took me from that point in time where I just completely didn't believe in God, made me say, okay, there's something that exists. There's definitely a God out here. And then it was more so trying to understand how to define that. And what I firmly think is, I think you have to pick something, because, I mean, you don't necessarily have to pick a religion, but I think you can't study everything, and then there's, on top of everything, there's translations and things, and what we see wrong in the world is not the message, it's what people have done with the message, using it and twisting Bible scriptures to justify white supremacy,
right?
Like, or people using, you know, using the Quran to justify killing people in terrorist attacks or something like that.
Right.
Like, you see people twisting the message, and that's kind of where I got to a point where just realizing that, like, just, you know, and ultimately I think it was just part of my story to like bring me here today, so I can also help people going through similar things to see that. So many things in this world can distract you, and you'll try to do things your way. You'll try to do things the way that the world is telling you need to think. And nowadays, when we got social media, we got AI, we got just friends and family, you got so many different things pulling you and trying to tell you how you should move. And then of course you got your own selfish gratifications that we all have. So that verse, just like when I think about breaking through, I think it begins with the mind, because God is something that, like, you have to seek. You know, Satan's gonna try to like conform you to this world and try to make you think, hey, you know, follow this, like follow your logic, follow the way that makes sense. But like it's a miracle, like, that we're here right now.
For sure.
It's a miracle that we're alive right now. So, like, and that's God ultimately. And the miracle, you have to seek God. Like, you have to go and find Him. So
I guess, yeah, it's easy to allow, you know, the desires of our human side to kind of like take over.
Yeah.
And then it's also, you know, we look around the world, and it seems like the world's gone mad. You know, when we were doing the interview last year, we were kind of anticipating what we're now experiencing. So, you know, for those who see the world and see evil prevailing, how do you convince them that it's to keep their faith?
Man, that's a great question. I was actually in a conversation with my cousin about this the other day because there's so much, he's real big on exposing the truth, conspiracies and things like that, and trying to find answers. And I am too, as well. But I think you only can control what you can control. Like, you can only control really how you react to situations. We can't control what's going on in the White House. We can't control what's going on in the world, but we can control how we treat the people around us, how we treat our friends, loved ones, a stranger on the street, our family, and what we do for them. So, I mean, more than ever, just everything going on in the world makes me want to get closer to God. Wow. Because I want to feel like I'm leaving something meaningful. I want to feel like I'm saying something meaningful that's actually helpful, that is actually true and real. And because pretty much 90% of everything you see in the world now is politicized, fake, artificial.
For sure. For sure.
And it's hard to even know what to believe anymore.
For sure. What benefits personally do you gain from worshiping? How have you seen it impact your life personally?
Yeah, man, it's so clear, like, as far as like how just what I need to do every day just becomes clearer. It feels just more free. I feel more freedom in my life. I think like what I've kind of been wrapping my head around, and this is, I think I need to kind of just do more studying into the word on this, but like, God wants us to seek him, and the devil will try to seek us. And get us to conform to the world. Wow. But we have to make the step to try to get closer to God.
Yeah. Wow.
Because I've spent so many years of my life trying to find the answers through so many other ways. Like, I mean, what I've come to realize is there's a million different religions. There's a million different spiritualities. It's impossible to research everything and to know everything. At the end of the day, it's about having faith in what it is you believe in and believing something higher than yourself.
For sure.
And when I think I finally submitted to that, because my brain is I don't just accept stuff like
face value.
Like, you have to show me why this makes sense. That's because my logic wants to lead with that.
Right.
And I kind of had to get to a point where I just had to like trust my faith. Growing up, my parents didn't go to church. We would go to church sometimes, but it wasn't a habitual. We weren't in church every Sunday.
Gotcha.
My mother had Catholic roots. My dad Baptist, and I always had I seen a lot of stuff in the church that made me want to turn my back against like the church. And honestly, truthfully speaking, I mean, what makes me go to church now is not that you can't have church. Like, if us in this room decided to dig into scripture or talk about God, that's church.
Right.
But like, is being in community with others who can hold me accountable when I start to fall. And those are the friends that I seek now. Like, it's people that can like hold me accountable, who are going to help inspire me and be a light in my life the same kind of way. Getting married this past year, I saw a lot in that whole situation. I remember doing the premarital counseling, and the pastor was like, y'all have been, do y'all argue? Are you fighting? And we're like, nah, I mean, we're pretty good. And he's like, yeah, that's probably because you're making Satan happy. Y'all shacking up. Y'all having sex before marriage, you're not gonna understand till you make those vows what it really means and what it starts to open up, because what's happening once you get married is then the enemy tries to attack that even more because you're becoming one flesh under the eyes of God. Right. And, I heard him say that and I was like, oh, okay, we'll see. And then like you get married, and then you start to see like, all right, you have to strengthen your marriage. Like you have to still date each other. Like y'all have to like prioritize. It's not like you just get married and everything's magically perfectly fine.
Right.
And then you got things like kids and stuff that come in the mix. So, but that's just an example to show like where I think you know, how working on a project like this is just me screaming from a mountaintop, hey, God is the greatest, and God is everything. At the end of the day, you know, praise God, and hey, everyone, I submit to God.
Gotcha.
Like, let's get it clear. I submit to God. Music is spells. I firmly believe music is spells. I know what it feels like when I make music, when I get into music. I know what it does energetically, and either it's good or bad. There's no in between. I want to use spells for good. Gotcha. I want to use it to uplift God. I want to use my music to uplift God.
Gotcha.
So.
Gotcha. And speaking on the topic of marriage, one of the songs on the project is "She Is the One," which starts off super beautiful. It's all, you know, harmonious and butterflies and rainbows, and then kind of goes a different direction. Kind of talk to us about that track, "She's the One."
Yeah, I think I love switching up the beat. Sometimes, like, if I could have my way, I do it 3 times every song. Like, gotcha. People, Shay be telling me to chill out. Like, hey, that's too much. You know, I think I showed you "She Is the One." You're like, it was already good. Like, you were just, what was the point? But yeah, no, I just wanted to make it. I think part of it was the beginning part was really just a sample. Okay. And like my producer mind is like, all right, well,
gotta make sure this. I
gotta shift it from just the sample, and I thought it would be unexpected a little bit.
Definitely was unexpected.
What I mean? And I like to keep people guessing because then that's gonna keep them engaged.
For sure, you know? For sure, and I think it worked well. And then I think that kind of highlights what, you know, a relationship is about. You know, highs and lows. You know?
Exactly.
Sometimes everything is bliss, and then other times it gets a little rocky. But trying to stay the course.
Yeah. She is the one. 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient, kind, and it's enduring. I'm self-sabotaging this lately. Pray to God that He saves me. For so long I was stuck in the flesh. When God brought me you, I felt so refreshed. The devil tries to make you put love under lust. John 4:19. We love because He first loved us. I prayed God to guide me in a way that makes Him feel proud. I prayed that prayer and then you started coming around. What happened now? Let's say our vows. A lasting union. I put a ring on it. I put a ring on it. Yeah, I put a ring on it. I put a ring on it. I put a ring on it. Yeah, I put a ring on it. I put a
Look in the Mirror was another track on there with a good feature. Talk to me about Look in the Mirror.
Yeah, so Adopt the Enemy, AD, went to high school hanging with AD. He went to a different high school, but we have a mutual friend named Jude, aka 3130, who was the song Thick. And you know, I talk with AD probably every few weeks or so, and he's always, like, through this process, he has just been giving me so much encouragement and just like teaching me things that maybe I didn't know about, like digging into the word. And he's interesting too because his music is really unorthodox. Okay. He is, and it's all intentional. So I really like how he thinks about his music because he is like, he had told me one time it's one part like comedy, but it's also like fusing, he's like fusing together different genres, but he's trying to do it in like a lighthearted way, but also have this element of like raw grittiness, aka based element to it.
So I'm gonna go back and listen to Look in the Mirror. Yeah. And with that new insight, I'm curious to see how it sounds with that knowledge.
So he also was thinking about, like, with AI taking over, he's thinking about making music that is human.
Okay.
So he'll do things like keep things that people may think is a mistake.
Okay.
But that's because
it's human.
It's human. And I just love how he approaches his music and his mindset behind his music. I mean, he's like a mad scientist. And so like that song, you know, he was just down for the project, really supportive. And that song came about like really organically because I had the start of it. And I was like, man, what do you think about getting on this? I just wanted us to be on a song together instead of like him doing his own thing.
Okay.
And see how we complement each other and feed off of it. Because to me, that beat sounded like a mad scientist in a way. And I kind of see him as that, like creating, like that song felt like us creating Frankenstein.
Gotcha.
You know?
With him, I ride steady. I tried to break loose and tie chain, but that box heavy. Flesh fought back, my soul cracked, then that plot messy. Till grace hit that weight, now I move when God tell me, yeah. Pray to him again, I'm always gonna sin again, yeah. Pray to him again, I'm always gonna sin again. He stay close to me, even when I drift again, yeah. Pray to him again, I'm always gonna sin again. I said, pray to him again, I'm always gonna sin again, yeah. Pray to him again, I'm always gonna sin again. He stay close to me, even when I drift again, yeah. Pray to him again, I'm always gonna sin again.
Amigo, pray to him again, I'm always gonna sin again. Amigo, pray to him again, I'm always gonna sin again. Shame had me hell bent, like what do I tell him? What do I tell him?
So I was scrolling on Instagram one day, and I was on your story, and I saw you was having some car trouble one day. You know, what happened?
Man, that was, so I'm in Selma 2-3 times a week for my job. A rock bounced up and put a hole in my radiator.
What?
$1,500 just like that. And I didn't know what happened in the beginning. I ride with a coworker because he lives in Birmingham, and we were going to Selma. You get on this back road. It's 22. It's a 2-lane road, and there's this restaurant. This restaurant looks like a place black folks are not supposed to be at. I pass it every time I come back. I'm like, all right, definitely ain't stopping there for sure. And the car broke down right there.
Wow.
So we stuck at this. Me and James, my coworker, were stuck.
Two
at
black
this
dudes.
place. Two black dudes. He had a Malcolm X hoodie.
Oh
on.
my God.
We're in front of this restaurant. He got to use the bathroom too, and it's before they open.
But
so
like go around
he's knocking
the back?
on the door. He's like, "Oh, can I get in? I got to use the bathroom." And I mean, they ended up being very nice. They, again, don't judge the book by its cover. That's what I learned in that situation. Then the tow truck driver comes. We're waiting there for about 2 hours. And I don't know the rock hit my radiator. I'm thinking it's a software glitch. Okay. So the tow truck driver shows up. Granted, we in the back of nowhere, Alabama. He looked like the most, I mean, he looked like we have nothing in common at all. Just said, I'm like, man, and we got to ride. You know, it's a tow truck, so it's
kind of
three. James, my coworker, he about 6'3", 6'4", so I got to sit in the middle, and I'm sitting next to him. Dude looked like he came straight from the mechanic shop, grease, everything all over him, and we got to ride for about an hour together. And I'm just like, man, what are we gonna talk about? And he ended up, man, his story was so crazy. So he had been, he was in an accident when he had a twin brother. He was in an accident because he had 18 kids, he was telling us.
He has 18?
He has 18 kids, 3 sets of twins. So I'm like, man, twins running your family?
How is the wife, how is his partner doing?
I don't know. I mean, I think some of them could also be from different women
I
too.
got you. 18 is a lot.
18. And I'm like, man, 3 sets of twins. I'm like, twins running your family? He's like, yeah, I was a twin. He's like, you know, but he ain't with me no more. He's in my heart. He's like, he's like, yeah, he died, and we were driving together in high school and got hit head on by a drunk driver, and he jumped in front of me to save my life.
Oh my gosh.
And he said he was in a coma for about like 2 months after that. Like his brother had passed away. When he was in the coma, he saw his grandma who had just passed away and his brother and took him, and his grandma told him, you know, it ain't your time to go yet.
Wow.
So when he woke up from the coma, his parents were trying to tell him, hey, you know, your brother passed. But he already knew. He said, he's like, wait, what are y'all about to tell me? I already know. You know, my brother, he passed away. And they're like, how do you know? He's like, because grandma told me. And his parents were like just blown away. And, you know, he said he saw the pearly gates and everything.
Wow.
But, you know, look at how God works. You know, that's why I'm just like, and we riding, man. He tells me his cousin works, he's from New Orleans. The driver was from Louisiana. His cousin's in the Duck Dynasty. They do gator hunting. And he gets all this money per month to be, this land they use in this show is all his land they hunt gators on. And that's where he's gonna retire with all his kids in like the next 2 years. And I mean, like, I was like, man, we could be friends, you know? But it just shows like how God like connects people. And I take my car into the shop and then they tell me, it's not a software glitch, you have a hole in your radiator. Right. I was driving in front of a gravel truck before this happened. So it must have been a rock that came off, put a hole right in the radiator, man.
You know, so
1,500.
So, you know, life throws rocks at our windows. You know, I was going through a situation one time. I was at war with some people. I meet this guy who does yoga, and he just stops me randomly and says, you know, sometimes we're the window and sometimes we're the bug. Sometimes we can move out of the way, you know, and that lesson kind of taught me a lot, you know, about like perspective. Yeah. You know, with that situation that happened, you know, you were the bug that got squashed by the windshield, but how did you maintain like a positive outlook, you know, during that period of time? You know, when things start going wrong, how do you maintain a positive outlook? Yeah,
that's true. I mean, I was positive because I was like, you know, it's a software glitch. They're gonna do this for free. Then they take me in and they say $1,500. I was pissed. Because I'm thinking, man, this job, like, why am I driving here? You know, I didn't even have to come here today. I need this, you know, I needed the money, but I did look at it later, because that day I went to the gym. You know, I go to a boxing gym. I was like, I gotta go to the gym after this. I just gotta hit something, like you know, and kind of going to the gym. Then some of the guys at the gym, I'm telling them about it, and they're like, you know, your insurance can cover it. You know, you should call your insurance, and then just kind of, it made me feel better. And I was like, you know, how could I prevent that? Like how? And I think it was all God to kind of just show me, like, how unexpected life can take turns.
For sure. You
know, it was just a rock that put a hole in the radiator. It cost me $1,500, but now I'm a lot more alert when I'm driving to someone, because I'm like, hey, what if, you know, that's how quick people get in accidents and they die.
Gotcha.
You know, so.
Yeah, and I think it's important to, you know, to be grounded, you know, to have your foundation set. Yeah. You know, so when those chaotic moments do happen, you're not blowing with the wind, because it definitely is easy to, you know, stare out into the world or be a reactionary person. But, you know, I think God allows us to go through those troubling times so he can show us that no matter what, he's still there. Even when we're mad at him, even when we're cursing him out, he's right there. You know, he understands. I like to tell people, like, never be afraid of being honest with God, because he already knows he knows how you feel. You know, going through this project, how did you know when you were done? How did you know when the project was complete? Because you did a great job. From start to start, you started off with a prayer, a very powerful prayer, and then you take us on this journey and end with why. How did you know that why was the last song for this project?
You know what? I didn't. Why was actually not even going to be on there. Why was a rough draft song I had made. I had just that first verse I had on it, and I was trying to get someone else on it, and I kept sending it to different people, like, yo, I think you would sound great on this. You know, I think you would sound great. Nobody was getting it back. And as I was like putting together the album, I'm like, man, I really like that song. And I think it was, I like the beat, I like the vibe of it. And I started thinking, I was like, well, I need to close out the project. What if I just talk at the end? Mm-hmm. And I love Last Call, by Kanye West, College Dropout,
Gotcha.
classic song.
Okay.
And I was just like, you know what? This could be this could be like my last call to this, and I can just kind of make sure I close it out and make sure people understand what my intentions were with this project, what I hope people gain from it. So that was really how Why came about. As far as when the project was done, part of it was sticking to the process with Wildcard, knowing that like I wanted, like it needed to be encapsulate the 2025 year, so I could start the next process in 2026 and doing the monthly releases. So part of it was that. But as far as the songs, there were different songs that spoke to me. Like Why was a last second kind of went in there. Also Thankful was last minute, and that was just because I remembered me and Josh recording that in 2021, and I thought to myself, if we never recorded that, I don't think I'd be here today. If it wasn't for Kudos, I keep calling him by his government name. Sorry, brother, but if it wasn't for him in general, man, like. I mean, he's helped me a lot in my spiritual journey through the ups and downs, because you know he comes from his father's a preacher, and he would always like bring me to the word like when I was going through things. And I remember us recording that song, and I just remember us both feeling like that this was something, we need to do something with this. So that had to go in there. So. Part of it was just kind of, it felt complete once those last two pieces were put in, because before that, I was like, something's missing. And I guess I just knew it was complete with the way I felt when I like, I'll go through, I'll listen to it, and I'm like, wow, like how am I feeling from this? Like, how is this making me feel? And I'll be really honest with myself. If I don't feel like it's complete, then scratch it, go back to the drawing board.
Gotcha.
It's just, it felt complete.
Gotcha.
I ran from it, but God was always there in my prayers. Like Psalm 139, I found him everywhere. I got more than a billionaire. Peace in my soul, no need to compare. A piece of me's bold and a piece of me scared. A piece of me falls and a piece of me dares. But I'm always well aware that God can take me anywhere. Why you never had no faith? Why you never had no strength? God, take your place. Why you never had the faith to see? Why you never had the strength to be? Let God take the place of me. Why you never had no faith? Why you never had no times? Why you always on first days? Why you never had your mind? Why you never had a break? Why you never pray to God when he can make something shake? Why you
The project released on January 1st of the new year, and I just saw that you hit over 50,000. Congratulations.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations
thanks.
on that. What's been the feedback from listeners?
Man, it's been real positive so far. I mean, I've gotten random messages. Like I had somebody from Brazil reach out and was just telling me how much they appreciated the project. And I've had friends reach out. I've had, people from the States just talk about really liking it. The general consensus I've gotten is like people don't want to skip it. Like they feel like they could just play it from top to bottom. And I know and the people who tell me this are people who I know would tell me the truth.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that was one of my responses. Like, I mean, I play it, start with the prayer, and, before long, I'm at why. And I'm like, it feels like a very well-balanced meal.
Well, can't hold me back. Yeah, I'm faith locked in. Now I'm walking by the divine.
Yeah, this is the greatest gospel music you ever heard. And this is towards the devil. Devil, if you hear this, just know that you'll be on the floor. Yeah. And the people that hold me back can't even see. You can't play with me like a PlayStation 3. God helps me and my daddy to be just like we wanna be. God on my team, no, the devil can intervene. God on my team, no, the devil can intervene. Work hard every day, just like I'm a G.
Full of energy.
Be who he wants me
And speaking on your son, he cleared you on the verse, man. I was like super surprised he came. I was like, oh, and how excited was he to be a part of this? He loves this whole creation, you know. How excited was he to be a part of this project?
I don't know what it was that got him, because I've been trying to get him to do stuff. We did a project when he was 5 years old, and I thought, man, every year we're gonna do a project together. That would be so cool. But unless I want to be like Joe Jackson, like forcing him, then it don't happen. And that's kind of like what's been the vibe. I'll be like, Kaysen, you know, I'll be upstairs working on music. I'll be like, Kaysen, check this out. I'll try to get him pumped up. He'll be like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, you don't want to, what you think? You want to do something? Nah, I'm all right. And he just runs away. And then, but this was different. He just, you know, I told him what I was doing. I told him about the project. He knew like I was working on this. and I just showed him the song, and he was like, oh yeah. He's like yeah,
this worthy of my words.
Yeah, this is worthy, you know. He graced me with a feature on that one.
He got so much personality, man.
He does. Like seeing the successes and the numbers all make sense to me now, because I remember there were definitely times where I was, you know, the devil was kind of like, you sure you're gonna do this, man? This kind of, you corny, or you know what I mean? Like putting thoughts in my head, and I was just fighting back through those. And even people, man, I remember reaching out to a particular friend who I had made music with in the past and told him about this project, and he didn't want to do nothing on it. He even tried to clown it and all kind of stuff. And I was just like, okay, you know, stuff like that though. At the time, I mean, I don't really talk to that dude for real no more. But like at the time, I was like, man, you know, is it? What am I doing? But just trusting it and trusting that that's where my heart was at the time.
Gotcha, and just following it through.
Following
it through. All right, so we always know you got some new cooking up in the kitchen. What's cooking in your kitchen? What's coming up in 2026? What can we be looking forward to?
Yeah, so I'm running for president. I'm joking.
You got my vote, you know.
Just continuing the Wildcard process. Wildcard is a 4-year process. This is year 3, so it's an even year. So each month another song. Now what is out? So just getting those monthly songs. You know, just finishing this cycle, it would mean a lot to me to do a cycle of Wildcard, do this 4-year cycle, and getting these like Wildcard exhibitions going with the artworks. That has felt like something. Once that's moving, I really feel like I could breathe a little bit, because it feels like such a abstract idea over the years, and now it's actually to the point where it's getting birthed and gonna happen. So like doing those, getting those going, and really just like growing with my art at a point where I can allow it to grow and flourish, and hopefully creating this system through Wildcard has given it that ability to where I can like also just like be 100%, like, well, not 100%, but like as much as possible focused on like my family and just building just genuine relationships with people outside of music, outside of art. And just like getting closer to my faith, like just working out those spiritual muscles, staying just like, just learning as much as I can about like the Bible, learning as much as I can about just like following God every day, because it's to a point now, if I don't do it, like I feel off, you know, and I know how easy it is to like drift into negativity, you know, so I don't, and it's like, I feel like the closer and the higher, the closer you get to God, the more you feel the enemy try to work harder.
For sure, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
And the kind of like things that come to mind, or the kind of like negative thoughts I get now, or a lot more, it's just like really, it'd be really creative. I'd be like, damn, I ain't think about that. Fuck everything. Sorry, I shouldn't cuss, but forget everything. Or, you know, it's just like really intricate ways that the enemy will try to manipulate your mind and just put things to distract you from what you know you're supposed to be doing.
For sure, and make it look extremely appetizing. At the same time, you know.
Exactly.
I think what I've learned, across my life is like when it's super appetizing, like even if it's wrong, I'm like, hey God, this is what I want to do. I know it's wrong. This is exactly what I want to do. Talk to me about it. Like bringing everything, no matter what it is. And like not living in a state of fear, like, oh, if I tell him this, he ain't gonna rock with me no more. Just like being like brutally honest with, with however I'm feeling, And he's always gentle with his teaching. So, But congratulations on completing this project, man. It was a great listen, and I'm sure I'm gonna be, rocking out to it for the remainder of the year and going forward, man. Do you have any other like closing messages or any other words you would like to say to the people?
No, I mean, I'm trying to, I guess, learn how to pray. I've been doing a lot of different readings about like just praying, like we instead of asking for something and begging God for something, like that's not. It's like living in the reality of it instead of asking from like a lack. So like that's something, I mean, I would just want to share with people is like, just don't be scared to trust God. Don't be scared to trust the process. I know like with me, I think the way God talks to me, it's always that thing that's hard that I don't feel like doing, but I know I should do and I need to do. It's like, like someone had told me before, they said, if you worked out every day that you didn't feel like it, you'd work out every day. And that's kind of like how I feel like it is with like God and how like he'll speak to me. It's like those things I know I should do, I don't really feel like it. But then once you do it and you create those habits and you defeat the flesh ultimately, you defeat this flesh in us. And fast, I would highly recommend fasting. As a way to like, if you're in a point, I had a conversation with a friend yesterday. I'm like, he's going through a lot. And I was like, man, it sounds like you were dealing with some like tough spiritual warfare. Like if I was you, I would like fast. Because when you're resisting those urges to eat or foods or those cravings and that kind of thing, you have no choice but to like find God, to like get through it. Cause I mean, if you're thinking about a cheeseburger, who doesn't want to eat a cheeseburger and you're eating lettuce or you're drinking water?
Hey, salads are amazing, man. I love salad. But yeah, I agree. Yeah. I definitely agree. Yeah, it helps us to like pause and think about what's best. Yeah. And I think that's the great thing about fasting. It gives us pause. Yeah. Because like we're going 100 miles per hour all the time, and however we feel, we want to act on that feeling. Yeah. But fasting allows us to think. Yeah. It allows us to think. Yeah. For sure.
It pulls you in closer, especially in times where it's so easy to be pulled off. And I hope like this project inspires people to take that risk, to take that step that you've been thinking of, regardless of what that is in your own life. And I just look forward to continuing to grow with everyone through my art, people that support my art, people that appreciate it. And that's what I'm really looking forward to as Wildcard grows and more people catch on to what Wildcard is, really like the ability for them to put input in it. And, I'm just thankful to be in this journey and glad to have, great people like yourself to like trust it. I appreciate that.
I love my horn being tooted. I don't know. Yeah, I thank you though. I do thank you for allowing me, behind the scenes look, at this process. I feel honored to be, you know, the one sitting here interviewing you for, you know, the second time in a row on such a intimate project, and nothing gets more intimate than this. You know, this is deeply personal. So thank you. I do want to say thank you for that.
Yeah, man. Thank you. You're the right person for the job, man. Perfect person for the job.
For sure.
So yeah, I mean, I appreciate everyone. Check out the project if you haven't already. It's on all platforms, and just, you know, stay tuned to how this all evolves. It will. I don't know where it's going. But we're gonna shape it together, and that's what this is all about.
All right, and what can they find? What can they, you know, follow you on this journey? What's your socials and everything like that? Where?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Carey Fountain. So my first and last name, CareyFountain. You can find me on Facebook as well. It's Facebook at CareyFountain.art, and those are the main. I have a website. Check out vibesandvirtues.com, and just, you know, reach out. I'm pretty accessible, and I love to be in a community of like-minded people. So just reach out.
Perfect. Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for doing it.
God, before the beat drops, before the words land, before anything is received, we pause. Not because we are ready, but because we are exposed. You see every motive beneath the melody, every wound hiding behind confidence, every fear dressed up as ambition, every ego pretending to be purpose. So we didn't come asking you to bless this. We come asking you to search us and burn away what doesn't belong. Silence anything in this space that isn't from you. If any word here is meant to glorify the self, let it fall to the floor unheard. We acknowledge the war, not flesh and blood, but the quiet kind, the one fought in our minds and frequencies, and what we repeat until it becomes truth. We confess that sound has shaped us, and we ask that now you reshape us. God, reclaim this air, reclaim these speakers, reclaim the ears listening in bedrooms, cars, headphones, late nights, lonely places. Meet people right where they are, not where they pretend to be. For the tired believer, for the skeptic who still hopes, for the artist who lost their way, for the soul numb from noise. Let conviction feel like mercy, let truth feel like refuge, let worship feel dangerous again. If music is power, and power demands responsibility, then we submit this sound to you. Make this project a vessel, not a monument, a weapon, not a distraction, a prayer, not a performance. We surrender the outcome, we surrender the applause, we surrender the control. Whatever you want to do through this, do it. In the name of Yeshua, whose name the world came to know as Jesus, amen. And welcome to Warship. Peace.